Sorry, I was having a little too much fun. Let's get serious now. I've done some videos criticizing games that are almost revered in the retro gaming community, like Sparkster or Harmful Park, and I stand by everything I said about them. I like to think that I have high standards for games, considering that there are so many out there and really so little time to play them. Even so, sometimes I find myself enjoying a game that isn't particularly well refined, for a variety of reasons. One example could be Donaldland for the Famicom, which I did a review of. The gameplay is nowhere near as tight as classic games like Mega Man or Castlevania, but there's something carefree about the design that I love. So today, I'd like to take a look at a game that I consider a guilty pleasure. A game that doesn't have the kind of tight gameplay mechanics that would earn it a high score with a gaming magazine, but I still find myself going back to again and again. That game is Hani on the Road for the PC Engine. Hani on the Road is a side-view action game that isn't quite a platformer. The levels always move straight from left to right, but your character can also move across 4 layers in the Z-plane by pressing up or down on the D-pad, technically making this a 3D game. Your standard attack is a sort of jump kick flip with a very limited range, but there are some special weapons to be found in certain stages, like a sword, a wrecking ball, and a transformation item that turns you into a giant. It's a straightforward game. Get to the end of the level, and, in some cases, beat the boss. Straightforward, yes, but not haphazard. Despite being one of the cheapest games on the PC Engine and not particularly difficult, Hani on the Road is a blast to play because of the variety in level design. Each level has some completely different gimmick in both gameplay and graphic design. There's a level where you're dodging falling lava, one where you're slipping on ice, one where you're inside a Japanese castle avoiding traps in the floor, even a race car level. There really are as many different ideas as there are levels. It's true, the central idea never changes, move from left to right without getting hit, and none of them are particularly complex, but in my opinion that benefits the game. It aims to be a very pick-up-and-play, instant form of entertainment. Also, if you find one level to be particularly difficult, the good news is this game has multiple pathways. There are a number of forks in the road where you can choose the path you take, so you don't have to play through every single level to beat the game. I dare say it adds an element of replayability, so you can go back and challenge some of those super hard levels after beating the game with the easiest path. A big part of the appeal of the game is the graphic design, with lots of cutesy depictions of traditional Japanese monsters like kappas, manekinekos, and dogu statues. And then there's Hani, the main character. Unless every person watching this video was an Asian studies major, I'm guessing most of you are wondering just what the hell Hani is. It may surprise you to find out the name Hani isn't a term of endearment derived from bee food. It's an abbreviation of Haniwa, a grave marker and protector spirit made from clay during the Kofun period in Japan. Sorry to spoil the fun, but Hani is Haniwa, not a dildo. Much later on I ended up getting this cool Haniwa keychain toy. It isn't Hani himself from the game, it's just some random Haniwa, but I bought it because of the games. The developer, a company named Face, actually made another game starring Hani before Hani on the Road, a vertical shooter called Hani in the Sky. This was one of the first PC Engine games I ever bought, and at the time I honestly thought the main character was a dildo because, well, Japanese do crazy shit. It wasn't until my first trip to Japan when I visited the Tokyo National Museum that I saw real Haniwa and discovered where it originated. But if there is anyone out there who names their dildo Hani, I would definitely vote for them if they ran for local office. The music in Hani on the Road is also excellent. The tracks are very melodic and satisfying. Some are silly, some are ethnic, some are even nostalgic. The composer was Matsudaira Ako, who wrote the music for the other Hani game as well as Fushigi no Yume no Alice, often translated as Alice in Wonder Dream. You probably aren't going to get hours and hours of in-depth gameplay out of Hani on the Road. It isn't really fair to compare it to other platformers of the same era, because it doesn't try to be what they are. It's a playful work of art that you can just pick up anytime and relax with. In a likely accidental attempt at moral education, Hani on the Road doesn't end your game if you fall in a pit on your last life. Instead, it drops you into hell, a nasty little series of very difficult platforming. But if you get through it, the game puts you back on the world map, with another chance at life. That's right. Sometimes life throws you into the pits of hell, and it's worse than anything you could have possibly imagined. But if you can somehow manage to pull through, another chance at success waits. And that's exactly what we should be teaching our children. Thanks for sticking around for another trip into the depths of retro gaming. I'm the ultra healthy video game nerd, at least for this lifetime. See you in the next.